What's up, YouTube? Deaddraw here, bringing the video today. Yesterday we went over the North American WCQ champion who was playing Skystriker Gouki, and today we're going to be going over the EUWCQ champion who is playing just regular Gouki without the Skystriker engine. Some quite interesting things in here. I think it's really great. There's some pretty great choices and some questionable choices, and I'm going to kind of go over what I think because this deck profile has been put on many places already on YouTube. I kind of do these to talk about my choices or what I think was right and wrong. Despite the deck getting first place, there is still obviously issues or some things you just may not agree with. No deck is perfect no matter how good it did at the event. I think that a lot of times, obviously it's Yu-Gi-Oh! And there's a lot of luck factor put into it. A lot of just of that. That's all I really have to say about that. But not taking any skill, talent or skill away from this guy. He obviously played it absolutely amazing. So congrats to him. But I'm just talking about deck choices in general. But anyway, guys, let's get into it. He played 3 Gouki Suprex. The best one, absolutely the best one. Lets you special summon a Gouki monster from your hand. Then he played 2 Octostretch and 2 Headbat. He actually said he only probably played 1. He ended up siding it out like quite often. He said he played it because he was scared of reincarnation, getting rid of his only copy of it from hand. So that's why he played 2. But he said he sided it out most of the time. And you know, he probably wish he would have just cut it and got closer down to 40 cards. And then he played 3 Twist Cobra, 1 Bear Hug, and 1 Scorpio. And now neo-spacian Aqua Dolphin, he played 3. I think this was a great card right in this deck. I think it's really good to be hitting hand traps out of the deck, especially when you summon it off of like Marauding Captain. Super strong right there, and it actually won him game 3 in the finals. He was able to summon this, hit a monster out of his opponent's hand, and burn the opponent for 500. And then he proceeded to combo off, and he was able to do enough combos that time was called in the round, and he won because of the 500 life point damage. So it's pretty cool that the circumstances kind of lined up for this card to like win a Nats. Just absolutely crazy. And then he played 1 Terratop and 1 Taken Tomberg. Now, I have mixed emotions about this. I think it's really cool, and really cool to see this little engine come back. Especially in this deck, you essentially can make a free Invoker and go off from there. Invoker honestly really starts most of these Gouki plays if you have it. It also baits out a hand trap, and you still will get your normal summon. So very strong right there. But the problem I have with this is that it adds a brick, which is the Take a Tomberg. It's not very good if you draw this card, especially going first, because it is a machine. It doesn't really combo out. You would have to use it to normal summon and make Invoker. Obviously, this may not be a problem, but it does add a bit of frustration that it could be a brick in the deck. Then he played 3 Junk Forward, 2 Marauding Captain, 1 Ibbly, 3 Droll, 3 Ash, 2 Rematch, and then he played Living Fossil. Actually, I'm a big fan of this card in this deck. I think Living Fossil is very strong. It's a card that has utility in hand by being able to special summon a card, but super good. So I really like that about this card, and just being one of the targets for Isolde. And then he played the 1 Divine Sword Phoenix Blade because this card is absolutely nuts. It generates free advantage, always having something to discard for your Nightmare cards. Then he played 3 Called by the Grave, hitting any hand traps, just important to get rid of. 1 Rhoda, Monster Reborn, Soul Charge, and 3 Instant Fusion to make this a 42 deck. Then in the side deck, he played 3 of the Gardella, the Mystery Dust Kaiju. He said this was to like out the extra link. I'm not sure why he wouldn't play the raw sphere mode. I think it was so he could still go off on his turn. But he did say it was just to out the extra link, I guess. I'm not sure why it's not Gamma Seal, or is this one specifically, but it is. And then he played a 3 Ghost Ogre. We actually seen a lot more decks starting to side this card again, mainly because it is really good against Gouki, another strong hand trap to have to disrupt their combos. it is just very subpar against Trickstar Sky Striker, and that's why it's not being played in the main deck as much right now. But I do think Ghost Goer is still a very strong card. And then he played 3 Winter Cherries. Once again, this is for the mirror match, not having to run any extra targets because you're only really siding this for the mirror, disrupting their plays on their turn. And you can have access to every card that they're going to be playing because you play the exact same deck. So very strong card. I think this card will be played like as we move on throughout formats that are like heavily one deck formats. This card is going to get a lot of play, honestly. Then he played 3 Twin Twister. I think this card is absolutely phenomenal, being able to hit 2 back row. Some people want to play the Heavy Storm Duster. The problem I have with Heavy Storm Duster is that it's a little bit slow. You do have to set it, so it's more for a first turn. Where Twin Twister, I think, has the utility to be used on if you're going second or if you're going first. I think it's good in both aspects. So I do like this card very much. And then the one thing I'm not really sure how I feel about is the red reboot. He said he cited this like for Altergeist or Paleo, but he never played any. And that's like one thing. I mean, you already have a good matchup against those decks. So it's kind of like interesting that you would be playing this, especially with paying half your life points to use this card from your hand, which is, yeah, you can set it and not pay the life points, but most of the time you're using this from your hand to be able to keep your plays going and to keep extending and while you're hurting your opponent by doing this. So I'm not really sure how that goes because a lot of times like I'm hesitant to have cards that even do any damage to myself, even going into game 2, because game 2 could a lot of times end up going into time and then you just lose because of this card, or it ends up being a dead card because you don't want to use it because you're getting close to time. So kind of interesting there. And then for the side extra deck, he played 1 Dragoness, a Wicked Knight. Obviously, for this is the instant fusion target. It's a level 3 warrior. Would have to say it can make Isolde or it can make Invoker. It has a double play on there. And then obviously the 1 Invoker, 1 Borreload, the Firewall Dragon, 2 Isolde, 1 Underclock Taker, Tri-Gate Magician, and then he played 2 Nightmare Mermaid. For those North American players, if you didn't know, they actually don't have Link Rebo in Europe yet because they don't have access to show and jump cards. So they have to play 2 Mermaid to get the extra Link off. So this, like, Gouki is like essentially not quite as good there because they don't end on as good of boards a lot of the time. Even though they're able to still end on very good boards, they have to use the Mermaid, essentially using a Link 2 card instead of using your Octastretch. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. And then obviously your Nightmares, the rest of the Nightmare stuff, which is the Phoenix, the Cerberus, Double Goblin, and the Unicorn. Also, he kind of mentioned that he thought about playing 2 Phoenix, but the Double Goblin, even though it can't stack its effect to not get 2 additional normal summons that turn, it's still really, really strong. Just being able to have the perfect arrows to put in that middle section, so you can use the other one to make your mermaids or kind of or stuff like that. So it's just probably really, really good. That's what I have to say, guys. Like I said, I'm not really sure how I feel about this. 42, I definitely think you could be putting this down to at least 41. Like I said, taking out that head bat would be really strong. But obviously the deck worked for him really well. Once again, congratulations. I think it's really cool. I love to see some of these techs like Terratop and these other things coming in, especially the Aqua Dolphin. I think that's just absolutely hilarious. It's a great card that's just kind of come out of the blue in these last couple of weeks. So really cool to see. Anyway, guys, please comment, like, subscribe by join the Brick Brigade. Hit the notification button. That would help me out a lot, being able to get those notifications when you see when my videos go live, and always keep up to date. Anyway, guys, that's all I have to say. We'll see ya.